Hello, welcome back to Squirrely Art Mama. My name is Doreen. Today I'm going to do a little bit about sublimation. I had this project that someone asked me to do is to put images on a ceramic tile. I have the tile here. This is just a sample. So you can't just go ahead and buy tiles from, let's say, Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. It has to have a certain kind of coating on the tiles in order for sublimation to work. With fabric, you need a polyester blend, so it has to be more than, I think probably more than 50%. I'm not sure on that one, but it does have to have a higher blend of some type of polyester for fabric. But with tiles and hardboards and fiberboard and glass, and so there needs to be like a polymer coating on the surface. And so what happens is that when you heat the image onto the product, onto the substrate, the paper, the ink, turns into a gaseous state and absorbs into the coating of the polymer coating, and then it adheres to the product. When you use cotton, it doesn't have anything to grab onto because it needs that polyester blend. So if you get like something that's like maybe a 70% polyester, 30% cotton, you're good at, you should be good to go. They are making now something that you can put onto the cotton, and which has a polyester thing, and then you can adhere and heat press onto those fabrics. But today anyway, blah, 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 me getting sidetracked, I did it on this tile. So it's just a standard ceramic tile, but there is a polymer coating on here. So that's very important. So the next thing that you have to remember is to mirror your image. If it's just a photo with no words on it, or it's a photo with someone wearing a shirt with words on it, then you need to mirror it. If it's just a photo with no image on the shirt or no image in the background, or it could be a sign or anything. Think about a traffic sign, a stop sign. If you have a stop sign in the background of a photo and you're gonna heat press that onto here, you got to remember that you have to mirror image the product. Been there, done that. I did a mug just recently for Christmas, and I think you could probably find it on Instagram, but you wouldn't know which one I was doing. But after I heat pressed it, I looked at the shirt and I was like, oh my gosh, the picture, it's backwards. He was wearing a shirt, and I didn't catch that at all. We're human. We make mistakes. So that's okay. Emotional. How many products do you screw up before you actually get a beautiful one? Well, I can count a lot of them. That's the case. But anyway, all right. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to flip your image before you go ahead and print, so that way when you heat press it, it works. And that goes with everything that you do, as far as even if you're using a Cricut, mirror your image. Okay, another thing is the heat time. I struggled with that for years. I guess with certain, I have a mug press and I have a heat press, and each one you have different times to check, and you can Google which one, like if you're doing a mug or a tile, which way to lay it, which way to set it up onto your heat press works, and how long you should do it, and the temperature. In this case today, I did it at a 400 degree, and I face down so that the substrates face down and the image is face up onto the product. And then this is how I put it into my heat press. I noticed they're starting to do it face up. I never had any luck with it, and maybe it's just now that the inks have improved, the dyes have improved, that may be doing it that way. But I tested it out the other day, and I wasn't really thrilled with the results. But that might be because I didn't have in my Mac the ICC profile that comes with the printer. I've just been working off of my PC for so long that I had the ICC profile installed on there, and that's something that helps color coordinate with the printer. And you can get your ICC profile most likely from Sawgrass. So anyway, so I reached out to Sawgrass and I asked them if they can send it to me so that way I can reinstall it into my computer and get it set up. So before I went ahead and did that, I printed this one out, and I did, I think 2 or 3 of them. And this one, so I guess in a sense, what you can see, maybe you think it looks okay. It doesn't, though. It's very dull, very light. The words, the names came out like almost like it kind of exploded kind of thing. The images are very light. It was not vibrant at all. So after I put in the profile, now I don't know if you can tell the difference because they do, but look at Koa. Koa is this cat right here. All right here. So if you look at Koa, to me there's a huge difference. I don't know if you can see that. Even if you're looking at Kiawe, which is the cat on top, there's a huge difference to that. And then if you look at Tommy, who is the middle cat, it does not, I mean, it's so much more vibrant on this tile. I really love the way it came out. And that's one thing about sublimation. So with doing sublimation, I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it since the early 2000s. Yes, I am dating myself. Okay, but anyway, I remember years ago, my daughter was probably about 2, and I was in this mall, and I got a picture of Santa, and I put it on a mug of her and I with Santa, and I loved the mug. I still have it. Of course the handle's broken, but anyway, I still have the mug. But the picture is it's so faded, it's so old looking. And I remember when it was given to me, I didn't think twice about it. I was happy, I walked away. And then I started looking at the mug, and it was very light and faded. Now, if I was to sell this, or, if I was doing this for somebody as a gift, drive me nuts, and it'll take me as long as it takes to get me to be happy with the end result. And in this case, this one came out like I would have sent it out and been comfortable and happy with it. So that took me 3 tiles. Thank God the tiles aren't that expensive, but it does add up. And that's the most frustrating thing about sublimation. But when it comes out pretty, then I want to make more. So it is an emotional process. I get emotional about everything. But all right, well, anyway. The key thing, make sure it has a polymer coating, which of course I buy products that already have a coating. I remember there was, I even tried, I'm like, I'm going to do this myself. I could do a spray. But you can't have any dust particles, nothing, no hair, no nothing. Because if you spray, it will adhere to the product because, of course, it's a sticky spray. And didn't realize it, but when I tried spraying it, I tried doing it, and those little tiny dots came out. I was like, oh, look, dust particle. And I remember going to this guy's warehouse, and he had a section that he had sealed off that he goes in there, and it's all protected. And he goes in and he sprays and he does all his tiles. And he was getting his tiles at Home Depot for, a few cents, and they were all different styles. And I had this baby shower that I was asked to do some kind of project or whatever. So I ended up making magnets, and I ended up getting them at Home Depot, and they were hexagon shape. And because they were so tiny, it was a little bit easier. I put the coating on it, and I was able to paint it on. And they adhered really nicely. I know it took me a while, and it wasn't as crisp as it would have come out if I just bought it from the store, like one of my vendors, and then had it printed out like this, and then it's all ready. And so that's what I'm happier doing. I'd rather buy it from a vendor, already done, simple done, boom, heat press, and it's out the door, versus the whole process. That's me. if it's not you, you can get the whole polymer coating and the whole setup, and you can actually paint it on yourself or spray it on yourself onto any product that you want to do sublimation on. Not me. I'm like, go buy and just print and go and be happy with the results. Anyway, so, all right, well, on another note, my struggle was real on this one. It was pretty emotional that I ended up walking away for a few days because it after I printed two of them, or the third one, and it's actually when I printed the third one and it didn't come out, I was like, oh, okay, just walk away, Doreen, take a step back. And then that's when I finally reached out to the Sawgrass, and then they sent me the profile, and then I printed it out, but I was nervous to heat press it on, but I did print it out, and that's the one that this one came out, and I sat on it for a couple days, and then I finally said, okay, I'm going to print it because I got to get this other tile out because this lady wanted it for Mother's Day. But she came back to me this week to say she's interested, which she's in the mainland. Well, okay, wait, I'm in the mainland. She's in the East Coast, and so I got to mail it out to her, and I'm not sure she's going to get it for Mother's Day, which she understands that, so she's okay with that. I figured I'd share you the process of even if I'm making mistakes, and I struggle with that because I don't like to show my mistakes. But when it comes out nice, then I'm like, ooh, I'll show it. But anyway, so I will share with you my just little short video clip of the process. And for now, I'm going to end it here. So when you're doing sublimation, don't forget it has to have a polymer coating. Mirror your image if you have any words on it at all, because the last thing you want is the words to be backwards when you heat press it. Make sure the temperature of your heat press is up there. I usually just do it at 400. So I vary between maybe 380 to 400, just depending. And with tiles, I get the best results at 5 minutes, but I've done tiles at 7 minutes. So I'm happy with it. So I did it 400 degrees for 5 minutes. It varies depending on your heat press. My mugs, I do 400 degrees for, let's say, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I actually do that, or maybe even 3 minutes now. I mean, everything's different now. So you just got to see what works for you and check your manufacturer or your vendor who you're purchasing the substrates from, what they suggest, and then go from there. Always remember to use a Teflon sheet underneath. I use a Teflon sheet. I also use the foam press pad, depending, but for the most part, like when you're doing tiles or magnets and so on, I use the foam pad as well. And then, use a butcher paper for the top to covers, because you don't want the dye to heat, to explode onto your heat press. So you want to keep your heat press clean, because every time you're activating it when the heat goes up to 400 degrees. So you don't want to have leftover residue from another project. And then, of course, before you do your taping of your image, because I've done this as well, make sure there's nothing on there, like a piece of hair or a dust particle. Wipe it down, keep it clean and dry, make sure it's ready to go. No fingerprints, nothing, and then you go from there. If you're doing fabric or something like that, use the lint roller. Try to do that. Heat and press your garments down for 5 to 10 seconds or something, so that way you flatten it out, so that way you prepare for the heating of the garments and stuff. I think with that one, because if you heat it first, you're letting out some of the moisture, because for some reason the heat and the fabric causes some moisture. So by you pressing it down, you of course get all the wrinkles out, which that's a key thing too. But it prepares for your substrate. It prepares for you to put your image onto the product, and you want to do the best results. If you can eliminate some of these oopsies and mess ups by doing what I suggest, then that's a happier end result. Trust me on that one. But if you rush it and kind of skip over it, you're gonna get those results that you have to do it again and again and again until you take your time and do it right. So on that note, that's my life in a nutshell. You have a great day.